foremost, I want to welcome everybody out here. I know everybody's busy and everybody has a lot going on, so I appreciate everybody coming out. We are going to try to address any questions that any of you may have about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And as I mentioned already, there's a petition up here afterwards for anyone who wants to sign. So what it means to be a Second Amendment sanctuary county, it is essentially when a fiscal court signs a countywide resolution or ordinance saying that they back the Second Amendment and they won't be enforcing any further unconstitutional gun control, which they've already sworn to do anyway, so this is kind of a reaffirmation of that.
Or you're going to have to try to speak up. I can't hear you in the back.
I can't yell.
You might have to.
Everybody feel free to move closer.
She can move closer. She's got control no matter where she is.
There you go. You move closer.
There.
Right.
Hang on, I'll come over here. Okay, so the difference between an ordinance and a resolution, an ordinance has more legal authority, but a lot of counties are steering away from ordinances because there are legal consequences, and the county could be sued, or county officials could end up facing some serious issues, which is why a lot of counties aren't passing these. Now, there is one particular county, I'm not going to name it because it's under wraps right now. It is pushing for an ordinance, and it does look like it's going to pass, but they have reworded it in a way that accomplishes our goal, but doesn't necessarily implicate the entire county. I'm trying to get a copy of that as soon as their attorneys approve it, but I don't have it yet. And a resolution has little to no legal authority, but it does send a message to Frankfurt that we, the people of Kentucky, do not like what they're doing. And, you know, if a resolution has no legal authority, well, why are we doing it? We're doing this as a symbolic measure because in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, after we get done with this on a county-by-county basis, we're wanting to push for an actual piece of legislature in the state that does have legal authority that will hopefully prevent the state from enacting any unconstitutional gun laws. Now, the bills proposed for the 2020 legislative session that we're against, I'm going to briefly touch on those because they're quite extensive. We have House Bill 31, which is essentially just seeking to get rid of constitutional carry, which we've only had enacted since July. And I'm not going to dive too deep into these because we only have a very limited amount of time. I will give anyone who wants a copy of the PowerPoint a copy. If you send me an email, I can send you a copy of it if you want to look over it later. Then House Bill 130 got edited and refiled as House Bill 192, which is very sneaky. The wording really didn't change that much, but because there was so much outrage over 354, which is what it was pre-filed as, he pulled it and renamed it. And it says essentially the same thing. And 342, which I haven't seen it get switched to an actual House bill yet, so I'm not sure if they're taking action on it.
It did today.
Oh, man. I didn't see that.
It's basically the same as the 192.
It's almost identical
Yeah.
to 192, so I'm not sure.
Right.
I don't know.
It's in Judiciary, House Judiciary Committee right now.
But essentially, what each of these bills are doing, both of them, they're putting dangerous labels on guns that are commonly owned, and they're being named assault weapons, when by technical definition they are not. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more here in a minute. But they're also classifying, there was one bill that was classifying magazines that held more than 7 rounds as large capacity, which is ridiculous. And then
Excuse
another
me.
thing, yeah,
Can I just say one thing?
yeah.
There's no such thing as an assault weapon.
My hands are an assault weapon.
There's no such-
I'm sorry, I had to. I'm gonna dive into that in a second. And that's just continued. Again, we have limited time, so I'm not gonna go in depth on this. There we go. Now I'm gonna dive into red flag laws, which has been a topic of major controversy here and in other states. I'm gonna specifically be covering which amendments of the Constitution it violates, because it violates 6 of the 10. For the First Amendment, you guys know, any of you that are on Facebook, what Facebook jail is. You say something somebody doesn't like, you're going to Facebook jail because they've reported you too many times. It's the same concept. If you say something somebody doesn't agree with and they think that you might be a potentially violent person, whether that's true or not, they can use your use of free speech against you and potentially report you as a threat and get your guns taken away. And of course, we've got the Second Amendment. That one stands out the most because the right for the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And the Fourth Amendment. This one's extremely important, and I stress this one a lot. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Well, it's unreasonable and unconstitutional to take someone's firearms on the assumption that they might be used inappropriately, and no crime has been committed. And then we have no warrants shall issue. This is not its own amendment, it's part of the other one. But upon probable cause. Probable cause is based on evidence of actually having done something, not the opinion that someone's going to do something. For example, your ex could report you trying to get back at you, and they could get your guns taken away. And the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Due process is denied under red flag laws. These people were not charged with a crime, arrested, or convicted for having their guns confiscated. Without due process, all of our rights and properties are unsecured, including our firearms. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's a lot there. But the rights of the accused. You have the right to a speedy public trial. You have the right to a jury. You have the right to know what your accusations are and who accused you of them. All of these things are taken away from you by red flag laws. You don't get to know who made the accusations. You don't get to confront them in court. There's no court hearing at all before they take the property. And there was actually one man in New Jersey who was shot and killed during the confiscation of his guns when an altercation started because he turned and tried to walk away and go back in his house and shut the door when they came to take his guns. After the fact, the family member that reported him said that she had just been upset because they'd gotten into an argument on what to do about his mother's care, who was elderly and in bad health. And because of that, he lost his life. The Seventh Amendment. Now this one is questionable these days because it's for property exceeding $20 in value. And as you know today, $20 isn't much of anything, so that's that. But we all know all guns exceed $20. If you find one for $20, it's plastic. It's a toy. But you're supposed to have a jury trial rather than judges making the decisions regarding property. And in a red flag law situation, again, there's no trial, there's no jury. It's just a judge that signs off and says, yeah, sure, go take your guns. Now, what is an assault rifle / weapon? By technical definition, an assault weapon or assault rifle is a fully automatic rifle. Now, these are legal to own, but you have to jump through a lot of hoops, and it is very expensive, which is why the common person does not have one. And if you want to get technical, anything can be an assault weapon. anything that you can use to hurt someone else. A baseball bat, a frying pan, a rock, your hands, anything. So my question is, are they going to try to regulate those too? Why won't gun control work? Criminals don't obey the law. In countries where similar bills have gone through or guns have been confiscated outright, violent crime has skyrocketed. This is because the law-abiding can no longer protect themselves from the lawless. If you examine the last few mass shootings, the shooters could not legally purchase the weapons that they used in their acts. Do we want to be the defenseless sheep or the sheepdogs who protect the sheep from the wolves? Do we want to allow ourselves to be easy targets? I don't. I choose to be the sheepdog. Gun control is not about safety, it's about control. If you look at history, I'm not going to read through every single one of these, but I'll use a commonly used example. In 1938, Germany disarmed its citizens, and over the next 7 years, 6 million Jews were murdered. I'm going to leave that up for just a second so y'all can read through it. And then this is just a second slide. The main one I'm going to mention is the United Kingdom, London in particular. Pertaining to 2018 through March, in London alone, the total number of offenses involving a knife or bladed instrument that have been recorded by courts in the year to March 2018 rose to 40,147, according to official statistics from the Met Police. That's over 40,000 in one city in 3 months. The lawless will always find a way to harm others, regardless of whether that's a firearm or not. Especially if you can't protect yourself. All right, Tony, do you want to come talk now?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. And if this girl doesn't turn to a leader, I don't know nobody will. Okay? She's done a bang up job for I didn't know what to expect the first time I met her, and I'm thinking, just like everybody else, short. But short but spunky, and she does a great job. Some of the things she's talked about today is not only important from the Second Amendment, but the Constitution totally. Now, I have a company called Constitutional Kentucky. We are fighting any unconstitutional law, or one we think will go to the Supreme Court and become unconstitutional. So, until it gets there, we're going to fight for it. Fight to make sure it doesn't happen. The purpose of having these people, these constitutional laws, is not because the government needs protection. The constitutional laws are written for protection against our government. Amen. We own the Constitution. And go back to the Declaration of Independence, 1776, that I was actually signed on August the 2nd, by the way. But anyway, declared July 4th, 1776, our Independence Day, because that's the day that it was initially written. The thing about the Declaration of Independence is no different than what we're presenting to all these counties. It's a resolution. The resolution that we told the king, stick it. So that's in a sense what we're trying to get our counties to do today, to say federal government, state governments, the Constitution is our law. Not what you tell us it is. It's what it is. So these are the kind of things we work on. I wrote legislation that is already up in Frankfurt, in the Senate and in the House. Hasn't come off somebody's desk yet, but to do the very things that they're working on too. A law that says you are violating my Constitution by even writing a bill. Now, I've been told by 3 different people that we have to change the Constitution of Kentucky. Well, and me and my attorneys are fighting that. Because there are bills right now on the books, or they're trying to be on the books, that say we can amend the Constitution anytime we want. So even if they have to amend the Constitution, just take a vote. There's four bills right now that's trying to change those. And one of them is elected officials. How we elect them. Okay, so if they can change that, they can do something to help the economy. And that's us. So I'm not here to take a lot of your time. I just wanted to, I'm here for her more than anything, and you guys. I have my cards up here. I have the website. I think that the backbone that's going to take to do some of this stuff, don't be afraid to get in somebody's face and say, hey, I'm not voting you because of this. Whether it's your magistrate, whether it's your, if we have to elect them, we have a right to call them out. Because they're elected officials, and they're by us. So that's all I'm going to say right now. If you need anything, I've got cards up here. If you need to contact me, feel free. Any other questions?
Has anybody spoken to the sheriffs?
The sheriff here, yeah, I think.
What is his position?
His position,
They're for it. I emailed them and they
yeah,
emailed me back.
he was for it. I mean, he didn't jump out and say that when I talked to him, but he did act like he was gonna jump on board. If you look today, Colorado just put in place a red flag law today. All right? Immediately this morning they'd already arrested their first guy. 10 minutes after it was started. So that's how fast it operates. Indiana just come out with this big assault on weapons. Now, as an instructor, we have to say firearms, but they're weapons, and they're weapons we use to defend ourselves against what? The government. We are going to defend ourselves against any
and all oppressors.
any and all, whether domestic or foreign. So, yes, sir.
Do we know what the status is in, was it Virginia, that supposedly had people who want to come in and,
I got this.
go ahead.
As of the last time I checked, over 96% of their counties had declared sanctuary status. And there's a big rally in Virginia on the 20th.
You gotta find me first.
On the 20th of this month. They don't, obviously you can't gauge how many people are going to come to something like that, but they're estimating anywhere around 30,000 people. And they're coming all the way from across the country. It's not just Virginians, everybody's piling into Virginia. And I would like to say, I know it's hard to see this, but we have 27 counties with meetings scheduled, 40 counties with votes scheduled, 5 counties that are in progress but are fighting a little bit of pushback from county officials, 32 that are approved, 0 denied, and 14 in progress. We only have 4 counties right now that aren't actively doing anything, but I have been speaking to individuals in those counties to date, and they will be starting something very soon. So we are about to be no white left on the map, which is a good thing.
But we want them all green.
Yeah, we want them all.
And that's coming. I mean, I think we're going to lose some. Obviously, Jefferson County will be hard. I've talked to the lady up there that she just won't give me the time of day other than
Bull
say.
County's gonna be hard too.
Who?
Bull County.
How many signatures do we have right now? Do we know?
I couldn't tell you because I have so many different paper petitions floating around. I don't know.
And they have to be turned
They
in
will be
when?
turned back into me before the fiscal court meeting.
Which
So it's
is-
important to
Which is on the
encourage people to
14th.
sign.
I mean, I'm hoping I don't need the petitions. They were more as a just in case measure. But yeah.
Show up.
I've
Show
got a
up.
lot floating around. And also, if any of you want to take a petition and get some signatures over the weekend or something, I have a few up here. And if we run out, I can email them to you and you can print them off and just get them back to me before then.
Let me ask you this. If these bills pass,
Yes.
is there any group, like the NRA or whatever, that is willing to go to court to challenge the Constitution?
Yeah, I talked to Daniel, who is the regional, what are we calling, rep for Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
He's also for Ohio and parts of Virginia. they will file suit. You know, that's the deal, that's the thing. We can't really depend on somebody else to do the work for us.
Right.
And if we don't, we're going to end up like Virginia, having the House, the governors, and the Senate all wearing blue. Yes,
Our judge executive and several of the magistrates are here.
good.
Oh,
If they would like to introduce
That's a
themselves.
good idea.
Please.
Good idea.
Identify the name of the magistrate. I'm Elward Desmond, I'm the county judge.
Wayne Jackson, Fifth District Magistrate.
Who's in the Salvation District?
Tim Darling.
Tim?
You got another one up there that got a phone ringing.
Well, you're well represented with people here tonight, and that's great.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see you guys out here.
Can
I
I-
knew
can I
you'd been
assume-
invited, but I didn't know who all would come out.
can I assume that the magistrates that are here support a resolution?
Well, let's don't assume
Yeah,
anything,
let's
but
not do that.
ask them, I mean, you know, put them on the spot. They'll
It's
say yes or
an
no.
information meeting. Yeah. That's-
You know, let's not pussyfoot about on this situation.
Well,
This is serious. They're coming in states, taking people's weapons and attempting to take people's weapons. That's the only defense the people of the United States have to take care of a government that's out of control. And if we don't have a government that's out of control, I'll kiss your behind.
well, you wouldn't want to do that. but- I don't want you to do that.
I don't have to because they're out of control.
And there are a lot. I mean, I don't know a Democrat from a Republican in this room, I swear to God, okay?
Can I say something?
Yes,
This is a bipartisan issue, and the group that I'm representing, Kentucky United, we do not identify as left or right. We are
Amen.
uniting both the left and the right because this is a concern for everybody. And this meeting isn't to put anybody on the spot. I invited all of the magistrates and our judge executive here because I wanted them to have a chance to see some of the information and what we were doing. That way they could think about it. And if they do have any questions, they can, contact me, and I'm more than happy to provide them with any kind of information, meet with them, whatever it is that we need to do. So, I just want to put that out there. We're not here to hate on one side or the other, because hate's what got us in this mess in the first place.
good call, good call.
The traitors got us in this place.
Well, can I add something?
Yeah,
You know, there's been a lot, this is the second one I've been to, and there's been a lot of emphasis on voting, and yes, voting is important. I'm an old man, and I've finally come to the realization we cannot count on Frankfurt or Washington anymore. We can't count on the Democrat Party or the Republican Party. After you vote, you can't count on the media. After you vote, I do this all the time, and it doesn't take much time. Look at their voting record. Go online and see how they're voting. When they come back to get reelected, and they're giving you all that BS, but well, you ain't voting like you're talking. That's what we gotta do. You gotta follow up on what they're doing.
well, I invite anybody and everybody in this room to go to the legislation page for the Kentucky legislators. Find out what bills are out there. There are hundreds. Some of them, wow, you'll think has nothing to do with you. Others will. Now, they all have tough decisions based on you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. I'm not giving them credit or not disavowing what they're doing. We have to make sure they understand we vote, and we have to get out to vote. Virginia sat back and did nothing. Sit down with these guys, talk to them. I mean, give them a little bit of information that they may not know. And I'm sure most of these guys know the Constitution pretty well. I mean, everybody in this room, just go look. I mean, if you're not sure about something, read it. If you're not sure about, pick up my card and call me. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. But I picked up the book since I was about 7 years old and said, this is what I need to do. All right, but I need to know what my forefathers before us wrote and how they wrote it and what they meant by it.
I do want to say this too. Part of the reason why we encourage you all to go to the legislative page and read through the bills, I've been spending what little time I have outside of doing, secondary sanctuary stuff, reading through these bills, and don't get so lost on the gun control bills that you overlook the other stuff that is trying to slide through. Because there are some more control bills that aren't Second Amendment related. I've only done like a single read through of them, so I'm not going to quote them on anything. But there's some scary stuff going through the.
I'll tell you one right now that it's going to affect everybody in this room. I don't care if you're black, white, Democrat, Republican. They want an 8% sales tax raise. They want to raise it to 8%. That's going to affect everybody. But if you don't know about it, it can happen. So don't hesitate. Pick up and, they've got them listed 1, 2, House Bill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all through there. Choose a few of them. Go through them once a week just to see what's changed, what's out there.
Is that a response to their $32 billion debt that they dumped on us?
Well, that's the big thing they're working on more than anything they're going to do this year is work on the pension. That's first and foremost, then family issues. That was their words to me. They really didn't care about these bills. Now, they're paying attention, but if you notice, the guys that are writing the bills with the gun control, all they're doing right now is playing bait and switch. They changed the number, hoping somebody would just let it slide. I actually talked to somebody, and I won't say who it is, but I like her a lot. She co-sponsored a bill. I called her up and asked her about it, and she said, Tony, I haven't read it. And why would you do that? I mean, Washington, D.C. does it every day, right?
Yep.
But why would a legislator from the state of Kentucky not have time to read a bill they're co-sponsoring? Doesn't make sense.
I wouldn't put my name on anything I didn't read.
But let me tell you what happens. John Doe over here, he says, and he's out of Louisville, okay, and he says, well, we need to get rid of guns, so he writes something up. Takes to the legislative research committee. They write the actual bill. They send it back to him, and he asks, well, did you get it all in there? And they'll say, yeah. Okay. He assumes it's written the way he wants it written. That's why Jeff Donahue rewrote the law today. You change the numbers, said a few words that were different. But it didn't change. You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, right? Everybody's heard that saying. Now I'm going to ask you, before you leave tonight, get with you guys here. I mean, I'll sit down with either one of them. I don't know them. Haven't lived here long enough to get to know them, and that's my fault. I should have been knocking on the door saying hello. I mean, I guarantee you we're all nice people here. We all got a battle ahead of us. And whether it's your battle's everybody's battle. I agree, 100%. It's all how you attract it, how you go at it. I don't scream and shout, I get loud because my wife says I like to hear myself talk. But yeah, I'm a loud person, she's not. We're going to work on that, so she can hear. But that's all I got.
I'm quiet, but I'm effective.
That's it, she is very effective. And one day, if she doesn't leave the county, she'll make you leader. Because she's leading people now. And if we don't start with younger people.
I think Frankfurt might try to snatch me up.
Hey,
I've had a few people talking to me.
there you go. All it takes is somebody with the right attitude.
Didn't I see on Kentucky United that Kentucky had already been through this and it wasn't going to be a
2006.
Okay.
Now, in 2006, they wrote legislation that basically said no county, no entity could make rules that would violate the Constitution.
I got you.
I got it right here on my phone. I'm going to bring it up myself.
I got it.
But once again, it raises its ugly head. I have presented this to people in Frankfurt. I presented this people to their group. which is Kentucky United, which I am a member of, but I'm not real active, okay, because I got too much else going on. But that's where we should be focusing things, instead of going, in my personal opinion, this means well, it's symbolic, but if we don't get that to stand, then we're fighting a battle that may come to.
The problem with this piece of paper is, all they have to do is write another bill and change it. But it says, no person, unit of government, or governmental organization shall, during a period of disaster or emergency, or at any other time, have the right to revoke, suspend, limit the use of, or otherwise impair the validity of the right of any person to purchase, transfer, loan, own, possess, carry, or use a firearm, firearm part, ammunition component, or any deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. And then section 2 says, no person, unit of government, or governmental organization shall, during a period of disaster or emergency, as specified in, I'm not going to read all the numbers, at any other time, take, seize, confiscate, or impound a firearm, firearm part, ammunition component, or any deadly weapon or dangerous instrument from any person, of course, unless you're prohibited from having a gun because you're a felon. That's the only people that are excluded from that.
So we're already a sanctuary state.
Technically, yes. But the problem is, like you
You
said,
have to change that,
I wrote the
it's a
legislation
vote.
to change that.
It's already down, so they can't vote because we already done it.
Well,
No, sir, no, sir, they can
Saying you
change,
can't.
they
They
can
can
change
change
that
that.
law.
The resolution we're talking about is just to say, hey, you know, we understand where you're from. I had, one county wouldn't make it a resolution, but they went on record to say that they would support the Second Amendment and the Constitution. That works for me. So what if they don't have a piece of paper saying, we do this? But they did say, we will support the Second Amendment and the Constitution. Same thing.
Right.
So we really should get our panties in a wad, if you pardon my profession. But, you know, it's 6 one way, half dozen other. But the point was, we're all working with the same thing, to make sure the Constitution stands. Because it wasn't written for that farmer in 1776.
Right.
It was written for our farmers today, our farmers 30 years from now. And it's our job to make sure our kids have the abilities to protect their kids.
I had somebody else that's going to speak.
Okay, good. Sorry. I'm one
I'll
of these
turn it
guys.
over to you.
Some of you folks might know me, some not. My name is Joe Monroe. I am a sitting council member for the city of Bergen. I'm also a member of Kentucky United. I also served in the military. The oath I took when I joined the military in 1982 never expires. It says that I will protect the Constitution, and that's the reason I'm fighting for this. When Courtney contacted me about the sanctuary city status, I immediately called my 5 other city council members and the mayor. The mayor himself told me, if you want to make this happen, let me have it. I'll sign an executive order today. But I told him, no, I didn't want to do that. I want it at an open meeting for every sitting council member to vote on, so that their vote will be recorded so everybody will know. And when I asked them, how are you, what's your feelings on it? Every one of them, without hesitation, said, we will support it. Tuesday, the 14th, we will vote that in at 6:30 that night to make the city of Bergen a sanctuary city.
All right, it is currently 6:42. So yeah, anybody that has questions, we'll let Vicky go first.
Well, I just want to say, as a citizen, I don't own guns, so it's not just for gun owners, it's about protecting our Constitution, because a lot of people work really hard for that and fought, and we don't have those rights to come and change that these days. But additionally, I want to thank, in case I don't get to see you all, everybody's time is precious. I know I have a busy schedule and you all too, so I personally want to thank our magistrates and each individual for taking the time to come out, and if you're not in support of it, to at least, evidently you're not totally against it or you wouldn't be here, to see what it's all about.
I'm open to any and all conversations with any one of you, at any time. Just give me the time of the day, I'll be there. Any other questions?
So on the 14th, when this resolution is voted on,
No, it's not a vote.
not a vote?
Nobody's committed to a vote. I'm just going to be presenting it and discussing
It's a city council meeting, basically, going over the.
That was for the city
Well-
of Bergen. Now, the city of Bergen's
That
will be
was-
a vote.
it.
Bergen.
That one's a vote. I was
That's the
talking about
14th too.
I was talking about the fiscal court meeting.
Yeah.
They're on the same day, at different times.
so who is going to decide? Who's the voters?
Well, for the fiscal court, the magistrates will be the ones that vote on that. And then for city council meetings, it's the city council members that do that. I'm also going to be at the Harrodsburg City Council meeting on the 13th. My presence has been requested. I was never actually intending to do that. I was more focused on the fiscal court, but I've been asked to be there, so I'm going to go. Which gives me a little bit of hope, because if I was asked to be there, then I must be interested. Anybody else?
Are you hearing anything from the state level from any of them?
At the state level?
Yeah. Anybody at the Capitol?
At the rally on Tuesday, we had quite a few people come down from the Capitol and come in around and talk to people. Some, Savannah Maddox is a representative, I can't remember which county.
Grant.
Grant,
Yeah. She came down and she gave a really fiery speech.
She's the one that wrote and sponsored the constitutional carry for concealed in Kentucky. She's the one that done that.
And don't hold me to this because it may not happen, but she's also said that she's going to carry her AR-15 to the rest of the legislative session, openly.
And she will.
I will have to say, Governor Beshear made the announcement that as long as he was a sitting governor, the state capitol building would never be locked to any citizen of Mercer County. The day that we had our rally Tuesday, guys with AR-15s, all our handguns, everything, he allowed us into the capitol with no questions asked. None.
And I'd also like to say, all these people running around with loaded AR-15s and nobody got shot. So obviously it's not the guns doing it. Or maybe they were on a tight leash that day. I don't know.
Guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Amen.
Go ahead.
Just so we know, what's our next step?
We have the two city council meetings, and the fiscal court meeting, which that's the main one, because that's what's gonna give us a county-wide resolution. And then we'll go from there.
That's Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Is it open to the public, the meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
All meetings, yeah, public meetings.
And you always got your petitions, you can get those pages filled in.
Oh, I got tons of them rolling in. I've got a bunch of rogue ones out running, they've grown legs and they just run off by themselves.
Courtney, can you tell which one is Monday night, which one is Tuesday? There's some
Monday
confusion.
night is the Harrisburg City Council meeting at 6 o'clock at City Hall. And the fiscal court meeting is the 14th at 10 a.m. at the old Gateway Building. And then, of course, if anybody wants to come see the voting of the resolution that will pass Bergen City Council, that is, what time, Joe?
6:30.
6:30 at Bergen City Hall. And all of this will also be on the Mercer United Facebook page. If any of you are not on the Facebook page and you'd like to be on, or you're not on a Facebook at all, and you want to be on like an email list or something so you can get updates from this, let me know. I've also started running a website for the whole state, so there's going to be constant information on every county on that website. And yes, this has become a full-time job for me. And I do not sleep.
I talked to you back on the 20th before Christmas on the online petition. Do I need to go on and sign one of the physical ones?
I would like to get them all transferred to a physical copy. and just scratch you off of the digital one.
You got it.
I just like those better.
It gives you better, something better to show them.
Yeah. The only reason why I started an online one in the first place is because I knew it would be difficult to get around to everybody. Then things kind of took off with the paper petitions, so I was like, I'll forget the electronic one. I mean, I'll still present that one for anybody that signed it.
Physical.
But, all right, anybody else?
The next march in Frankfurt is when?
Oh, the next rally in Frankfurt is on January 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You would have more information on that because that's kind of your baby.
Yeah. Basically, it's more than just a Second Amendment rally. It's a constitutional rally. There we have speakers in line that are lined up. They're not all they're not all about 2A, but they'll be there to talk about the Constitution. The NRA rep from the region will be there to answer any questions you have. You know, some people will have some that aren't going to be very nice, I'm sure.
Tell them about the food trucks.
Oh, I do have 2 food trucks coming. Whereas last time I think they had to get pizza or something. But we
I'm
have
food motivated, so I was excited about
we had 2 food trucks coming. I got them today. It's funny how these things work because you don't expect big things to happen all at once. Take Kentucky United, all right? When I started, we are Kentucky gun owners. I didn't because I was mad at Booker from Louisville. That's the only reason. We picked up, 5,000 or 6,000 pretty quick. Kentucky United started right before us, and when Virginia had problems, man, they shot up. They went from 12,000 to 8,500 people, or 85,000 people. And they're all just like us, concerned with what's going to happen with the Constitution, with the Second Amendment. Now, I'm hoping, and I think they will continue to move over to other bills that we need to look at. Not all of them are unconstitutional. Some of them we just won't like. But let's face it, that's going to happen. But the ones that are going to affect all of us, and they shouldn't, we'll be on top of them. And I'm thinking they'll be right there with us. So the rally for the 31st starts at 9. The first speaker starts at 9:30, and we will continue to have speakers throughout the day. There will be some open mic, not a lot, because I've got a lot of speakers lined up. So if you want to hear something and have somebody tell you, it might tell you something you like, it might tell you something you don't like. That's just way of life. We're adults. People have asked me about carrying there. I'm a big believer, personally, everyday carry. Keep it concealed and go on. But I'm not against the Second Amendment that I can tell somebody, hey, you can't carry open or you can't carry a long gun. The Capitol Police are okay with it. The KSP is okay with it. They've treated us nice and everything I've ever been involved there. And just do what's smart. We're all adults. I hope to, I know some of you can't get all work to be there, but if you can, try.
It was very fun.
She was a star, okay? Everybody wanted her in front of a mic or something at all times. And we appreciate, I know it's a tough decision to make when you're in office and when you're not in office and you're looking at things, but keep in mind that when you go to a rally, you're going to be there with peers that are like you. Some of them aren't like you. The press calls, everybody shows up rednecks. That's not true. I know lawyers that go to these things, doctors that go to these things. Because it's about the Constitution, not necessarily about a gun right. And we got to keep people like her and those 2 young ladies back there. We got to get them involved. Because they're going to grow up. They're going to take our spot. They may be sitting in the magistrate's office someday. Or even the judge's office. And so...
I do think the biggest shock factor for most people when they meet me is how old I am.
Yeah, 12.
No. That wasn't the shocker. The shocker was how short she was.
Yeah, they got me up on the stage at the rally and said, hey, I thought she'd be taller in front of everybody. So now that's a joke.
Good thing he had that egg box up there so you could stand on it.
but mighty.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody else?
I just think it's put
You have
it
to pick her up so she can see over the ground.
No, I told one of the gentlemen that was the founders of the rally, I told him, he found out that, how well I knew Courtney, and I told him, I said, yes, and I said, I have got strict orders from her dad, that wherever she goes, I'm supposed to be within eyesight of her at all times, so I said, when you see her, I'm gonna be in her hip pocket. So, that kinda helped a little.
And at one point, a news reporter did kidnap me, and I got in trouble.
Well, you'd be happy to know the annex building is where we're gonna be across the street from where you are. You'll be standing on top of the steps.
I'll be tall.
So you'll be tall. And people can hear you. And you are gonna speak.
I am?
Yeah. You don't know it. I just let you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you're going,
Well, I do start college classes back soon, so I'll have
it's
to
all
see.
online, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm trying to teach you, tell her
Does
to
the
be an
Cap-
attorney, so.
Does the Capitol have Wi-Fi? I'll just do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
One
but
more semester, don't drop it.
Yeah. I graduate in May, so I can't blow it now.
no, don't.
Yes, there is Wi-Fi, so you can do your homework in between speeches.
See, there you go. All right, anybody else? Go once, go twice.
Oh.
All right. I was just thinking about that. All right, I guess we're gonna close the meeting now and try to put everything back where it goes.
And if they wanna sign, they just.
Oh, yeah, and there's a petition up here, a blank one up here, I'll sign it, fill it up, whatever you wanna do.